Good afternoon. Today is Thursday, November the 2nd, and can you believe we are already seeing commercials for Christmas here in the Nutcracker theme? All that stuff. We're not even going to talk about Thanksgiving. That's just the way it is. It's all about the Christmas. So, oh well, I guess that's how it is. So first off, some not so good news, maybe bad news, maybe good news. Don't really know yet. Did you guys see this? This is kind of crazy, actually. So I will share my screen so you can see what I'm talking about. Share. All right. That's actually the good news. We're going to get to that in a second. So U.S. Treasury finds realtors liable for inflating commissions and awards $1.78 billion with a B in damages. So let's just read through this real quick. U.S. jury on Tuesday found the National Association of Realtors and some residential brokerages, including units of Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway. They also didn't mention Keller Williams and HSA, liable to pay $1.78 billion with a B in damages for conspiring to artificially inflate commissions for home sales. Now, what they're alleging, or let me back that up. What they have evidently proven to a jury in Missouri, at least in this first trial, is that the home sales that happened over the last 3 years after the pandemic in the state of Missouri, some 500,000 sales or something to that effect, where they paid 6% commissions, the sellers of the properties that paid 6% commissions to the realtors. Well, 3% of those commissions typically went to the buyer's agent, right? And the sellers are saying, why are we paying this? We don't feel like that we got it. We didn't get anything out of this. Obviously, we're the sellers. They work for the buyer. And a lot of the buyers said that they found their house online or went to an open house and just walked in and looked at it and said, we want to buy it. The buyer's agent didn't provide anything of value. Now, that is not what I am saying. That's not what I believe. I work with buyer's agents all the time. They're very, 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 very important. But for the purposes of this lawsuit, this attorney and his group was able to convince a jury in Missouri that these sellers had been overcharged, and they granted a verdict of $1.87 billion. And the the agent, I keep saying that. Sorry, realtor agent's in my brain. The attorney who filed this lawsuit and got that verdict, the second after that verdict came in, he filed an additional lawsuit in additional states. This thing's going to snowball. It's going to get wacky. It's the Wild West. The verdict's already come in, and it implicates basically the way that we have done real estate in this country for 100 years. It's about to become the Wild West. What does this mean? I mean, the judge really hasn't given a ruling yet, and this first trial is not even complete yet, and we don't know what this is going to mean. Obviously, they're going to appeal it. The NAR and Keller Williams and Berkshire Hathaway and HSA, they're going to appeal this 100%. So this thing is going to be in court for years probably before this is actually ultimately resolved. But in the meantime, the judge could say, hey, you can no longer collect for the buyer side commission. That's not the seller's responsibility. You can't do it. He could put an injunction in. Where does that leave us? And our entire industry has always been structured where you pay 6% to your listing agent, and then they pay the buyer's agent 3% for coming up with a buyer and also representing them and making sure that their needs are met. They've got a fiduciary in their corner, et cetera, so that everything's fair, everything's legal, there's E&O, everyone's covered, et cetera, and it's an even playing field. Everyone's got representation, so to speak. This thing could get real interesting real quick. I mean, go on YouTube and pull up this, and you can watch 50 different videos with people saying they don't know. And there's 50 different ways it could go. Worst case, best case, maybe somewhere in the middle. I just don't know what that's going to mean. But for my realtor partners out there, you need to get with your brokers and start developing a plan for the next phase. Because if we've got buyers now being responsible to pay for the buyer's agent's commissions, right? It's no longer going to be provided as part of the transaction through the listing agent getting their 6%. If it becomes a buyer side cost, well, they still have to come up with the down payment. They got to pay these, interest rates that are definitely higher than we would like them to be, and they're paying for really expensive home prices. It's a lot, especially for a first-time home buyer or, somebody who's young, who just got into the market, they're trying to buy a house, they got to pay the realtor's commission as well. It's never been that way. It's never been that way. So whether you think that's fair, whether you think that's right, it's not for me to decide. And it's way beyond my pay grade, but I can tell you this, it's never been that way in my entirety of my career. And for many, 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 many decades before that, it's never been that way. So we're in bizarro world, and I don't know where this ultimately is going to land, but maybe we on the lending side with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USDA, et cetera, will come up, if it becomes the buyer's responsibility solely, and they just don't have the cash to be able to handle everything. Maybe we'll figure out a way where that can be financed. I don't know. Currently, I don't even know if that's legal. It might be anti-RESPA. I'm not an attorney. I just don't know. It's a lot of who knows. There's a lot of that going on right now. So that's not great news, obviously, and it puts us down the road and having to make some really large moves, some tectonic shifts in our industry, which is crazy. But what else is new? At one point we had COVID and the murder hornets. Now I guess we've got this. So who knows? So let's get to some good news. We started with bad news or crazy news or maybe chaotic news, and now we've got some good news, at least it pertains to mortgage interest rates. So let me share my screen again. Share screen. Let's share that guy, and we will share. We are now sharing. Click mortgage market guide. Boom. You see this aqua green 40 with an up arrow? That means we're up 40 basis points on the day. That is very, very, very good. And if I scroll down and show you the last week or so, of the last 7 days, look at this, green, green, one bad day of red. Don't get me wrong, it was bad. And then green, 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 green. And this is today. So we could be potentially on a trend. You see, if you look over, we've all been kind of trending down, trending down, trending down, trending down, trending down. Well, this is the impending Fed meeting in this month. The Fed met yesterday, and they basically said, we're not doing anything. We're going to keep rates where they are. We're not going to raise them anymore. So now we're starting to see a spike come up. Maybe this is a new floor and we've bounced off that bottom. That would be awesome. So case in point, let me stop sharing that real quick. So case in point, I quoted a deal for one of my realtor partners who was looking at a property for themselves potentially. And I ran, this is it if you don't get anything. It's just a regular, normal deal, plain Jane. You put your money down and you just normal closing costs. The interest rate's this. If you ask for the seller to pay 6% of the sales price to help buy the rate down and used all of that 6% to buy the rate down, then your rate would be this. And then we did a 3-2-1 buy down and then a 2-1 buy down, all next to each other for comparison. Okay. The starting rate that I put together, this was on, what is today? Today's Thursday. I think this was on Monday. The starting rate that I put together on Monday, and this was just Monday, guys, was 7.875. And that's just assuming plain Jane, nothing crazy. They've got good credit, they've got good income, they're going to be solid borrowers, right? That's what it was. But today, because of all those green candles I just showed you, that same interest rate that I could offer them for the same cost is like 7.375. So that's half of a point in rate betterment in like 4 days. That's really, really good. That's very, very positive as it pertains to just the real estate market. I'm not talking about everything else that's going on. I'm just talking about that. So here's the most important thing, though. If she was to get 6% from the seller and used all of it to buy the rate down, on Monday, that took us down, I think, to 5.625. I think that's what it did. 5.65 or 5.75. I think that's what it was on Monday. Today, it's 5.25. So you could, theoretically, right now today, with rates that have been as high as they've been recently, if you negotiated a full concession from the seller and used all of it to buy the rate down, you could get in the low 5s on a 30. And that's not temporary, guys. That's permanent, forever, for the life of the loan. I think in her case, it was going to save them like, oh gosh, $450 to $500 a month. And they were putting a lot down. They weren't financing all that much money. If it was a large loan amount, like $700,000-$800,000, it could be $1,000 a month or even more that they would save by doing that. So again, those opportunities are there for our clients that are on the fence, and maybe they've been like, you know what, I'm going to wait. I don't know. Maybe I'll wait till the market gets better. Well, the market's starting to maybe turn that way. So this could be really good news. And if you take advantage of this, and you leverage that concession to help get additional help from the seller to buy that rate down, even on a temporary basis, but better if you can get it on a permanent basis, you could really, really save a ton of money. So that's good. I'm gonna cross my fingers that holds true, and going forward is going to be the trend, and we're not just in a little anomaly right now. But obviously we've got wars in Ukraine we're dealing with. We've got this war with Israel in the Mideast, that who knows, that thing could get real crazy real fast. I think it's already gotten real crazy, as everyone has seen on the news. And it could get a lot crazier. So, anything can happen. Obviously, I've got to say that caveat anytime I put one of these out. The market can change every second, right? So we will do our best to stay on top of that. But questions, concerns, issues, problems, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I don't know what's going to happen with this whole lawsuit thing with National Association of Realtors, et cetera, and commissions on buyer and listing side. No one really knows what that's going to mean just yet. And anyone who does they don't know. I mean, unless they got a crystal ball or something, or they're a time traveler, they don't. And so there could be a lot of dominoes to fall on that side of the thing. We're just gonna have to see where that goes. But at least the interest rates are finally starting to trend in a better direction for us. So hopefully that'll continue to improve and we can move forward. So questions, concerns, issues, problems, reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer those, help you in any way that I can. I hope everyone's doing well and is healthy and safe. Good luck. God bless. We will see you next time. Take care.